Welcome to another episode of You Both Suck. It's your boy Kunal Aurora along with
Dara Pollock.
Fantastic. I'm so stoked.
Me too.
Introduce our phenomenal guest.
This is Ilana Dunn from Seeing Other People podcast. Welcome, Ilana.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me because
Yeah.
I have to say, I feel like I'm a funnier person when I'm with you guys.
Oh my God. We love to hear that.
You want to know what we feel like?
What?
A good people.
Yeah.
You feel like good people when you're with me?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, because Dara and I were discussing this
Yep.
before the podcast, and like, she's such a good person.
She's so nice.
She's so nice. And I'm like, and I wanted to be like, are you secretly a bag of trash under? Like, what is like everything about? I want you to win.
Yeah.
I don't want people to win.
Yeah, no, he
you
doesn't-
know how little I want people
He
to win.
doesn't like anybody, but he
Nobody.
raves about you.
Raves.
And
You
I'm
want me to win?
I want you to win.
yes.
Thank you. I
Yes.
feel like a winner right
Yeah,
now.
and I'm like, everything about you, even your last name, Dunn, is a good last name.
That's a sensitive topic right now
Okay.
because
Is
I
it?
have to change my last name
Oh,
in a
that's
few short
right.
months, and I'm having a crisis about it.
Why do you? Was it discussed? You're like, we're gonna do this because you're getting married, right? So
Also,
like,
can we just mention, because we didn't, that
Yes.
Ilana is from Seeing Other People podcast, which is a fantastic dating and relationship podcast. You've been on the Today Show, I think, this year or last year,
Yeah.
technically. You know, you've got, also there was some other critically acclaimed situation that happened that you got. What was it? Was it
New York Times.
I was like, I
That
think it was
thing.
New York
Even-
Times. Yep, exactly.
even a little bragging, you do it so humbly.
Yeah.
I would have sat there and been like, New York Times, get it right.
And I was
the
going to
news-
cut in to say I was on the Today Show to talk about being burnt out.
Yeah, that I understand that, believe me.
Yep.
But anyway, well, that was what we just wanted to make sure we gave you the proper intro. And you are, yes,
Absolutely.
getting married this year. So get back to that and the name situation.
Thank you. And not to plug myself even more, but I also co-host a fabulous podcast called Life in Progress about adulting, going through your 20s, all that fun shit. That's really not that fun. Yeah.
Nobody does that. Nobody gives you those lessons, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. Is like we grow, like we're in school till like 18, and then you go to college. Maybe you don't, but then nobody teaches you how to be an adult.
No.
Not at all. Like there's no financial advice. There's no social advice. None of those types of things.
Right.
We're just thrusted into the world, and now I just have to figure it out.
And
But yes.
I'm all for like making mistakes, but there's some mistakes that maybe we could spare ourselves. We don't have to make because
Right.
other
Right.
people who have come before us had made them. And it's all about educating each other
Yeah.
on the mistakes we've made and how to not make them.
We love that. Yep.
But yeah, so I'm getting married and I have just been having an identity crisis. Like we have talked about it and I know it's important to him
Right.
that I change my last name to his last name. I've asked him, would you take my last name? And he immediately was like, you have two older brothers. Your last name's not dying. Like you're
Right.
fine. I'm like, fair.
Fair point.
But
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a firstie lastie to so many people. Like I'm Ilana Dunn. I'm not Ilana.
yeah.
And
Interesting.
being a Dunn is such a part of my personality
Yeah.
that I just am having trouble. And like I'm so excited to marry him and I love
Yeah.
his family and
Right.
like it's nothing against him or them or like no, it's
What's
not
his last name?
I'm
Solomon.
sorry.
I knew he was going to react that way.
I'm sorry. Done can't be done. All right.
Yeah, I agree. Dunn is much better.
Dunn is so much. Remember the movie Unbreakable? The lead character's name was David Dunn. He's a hero. Okay, these are important things. I don't know. You're right. I mean, whatever you want to do. Who am I?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it's a lot to. Of
It's
course,
a big change.
Yes.
I can
Yeah.
see that. Yeah.
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 That's a lot to
And
take.
you don't want to do a hyphenate. You don't want to.
I'm thinking Ilana Dunn Solomon.
Yeah. That's not bad.
And of course, like when we have kids, I'll be Mrs. Solomon.
Right.
You know,
Sure.
like a united family front.
Sure.
I think Dunn Solomon works because you know what is nice? It's not, your last name is not long. So it's a good hyphenate last name.
It is a
you
good
know?
hyphen, yeah.
Like mine is fucking weird. Like if Pollock something, it sounds weird. Like it just,
It
doesn't-
just
you know what I mean?
requires the right complement. Like
I
where
guess, yeah.
Now wait. So you can't. It can't be Solomon Dunn.
When it's a hyphenate, I
No.
believe that's the reason that people do it is they want to keep their names.
I don't
So
know
it's-
that I would hyphen, more so like drop my current middle name and make it just like Ilana Dunn Solomon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Could do
I
that.
don't know. We'll see. Stay
That's
tuned.
interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We're excited
Okay.
to see. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I'm hyped for you. All the things you're going through, I'm excited for you. You know?
Do you want to go through some of them for me?
I mean,
since
if
you're
you
that
want,
excited?
if you want me to, I will.
You can change your last name.
I will, sure. Well, I mean, it's a palindrome, so we really can't do it. We can't do that. It's too nice.
Oh my
Aurora's
God,
a
I
great-
never realized that.
Yeah. It's not a good pickup line. So
yeah.
ARORA.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
it's nice.
Interesting.
Never worked with the ladies. Not once.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
All right.
Yes. Well, I wanted to talk about a couple things because you do run a dating podcast and the life podcast. So 2 things happened to me yesterday that I feel like, relate to both. I went on a date last night and I got drunker than I usually do. And I was hungover this morning. And I was just like, I don't know. Tell me if you've ever felt this on a date, that you can drink more when you're on a date because it almost feels like there's extra adrenaline when you're having a good time. Does that happen?
Yes.
Okay.
I do think that. I also think for some reason drinks are stronger when you're on a date. Like ever since I got into a relationship, I can drink the same exact drinks, the same amount of them, and I'm barely tipsy, where that number of drinks would have gotten me wasted.
That's what I'm saying. Like something happens.
Do you think because the adrenaline is racing through you and then you mix that with the alcohol, those things have an effect?
It's possible.
I mean, yeah, it's like I've literally never looked into this. It just occurred to me this morning as I was laying here dying. And I was like, why does this happen on a date? And it was a good date. I'm not saying like, oh, wedding bells, but it was a solid date. And I felt like totally fine last night. Like I could tell I was getting drunk, but I was not sloppy. I felt like I was tipsy. And then I got home and I ate like 12 Totino's pizza rolls. And
She texted me about it. She's like, these pizza rolls are going to the face in T-10.
I don't even remember that, but yeah, I guess
right.
Actually that does ring a bell now. It's coming back to me. But yeah, and I was just like, there must be some kind of correlation because it's happened to me multiple times where I have a good date and the amount of drinks, it was only 2.5 drinks.
Maybe I'm crazy, but 2.5 seems like a lot.
No, it's not a lot, I don't think. I mean, we're old also.
You're also going out on a Monday. Like, who are you?
I'm aware of that. It was because he was not available until Thursday, and I have plans tonight and tomorrow night. And he's out of town on Thursday, so I said,
popular.
I know, right?
I this doesn't happen to me. It doesn't
I'm texting her. I'm just mopping a floor like a sad janitor. I was like, "Oh, you went on a date? That's so lovely."
It happens occasionally where I have like a lot of plans in one week, but then the following week I'll do like nothing.
That's
so
great.
Do you use a real mop or a Swiffer?
I have like a Swiffer, but like it's those off. It's not a Swiffer, but it's the shape the same way. Does that make sense? And it has like the pad that you take off of Velcro.
That is a Swiffer.
It is, but it's not the Swiffer brand, and mine is 18 inches across.
So you have imitation.
See,
yeah.
I was picturing you like with a literal janitor mop
Yeah,
that has like the stringy.
The strings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I would get that in the house
That
if
thing
my girl would
looks
be
so
okay
gross.
with it. It's disgusting, but I would use the bucket, like the big yellow. I'd move that around. I'd be talking mad smack to like the dog and to my girl. I'd be like, "This is a problem with you kids. You guys don't know how to respect clean floors."
Gross.
You know? Yeah, like a real sad janitor.
Yeah, no.
But I feel like when you're in a relationship and like if the other person's going or stressed about something, if you clean the house, that's like
helps so much.
It's like the way for them to feel comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, like she came home and she was like, "Did you mop the floors?" And I was like, if she didn't notice, this would be a fight. I swear to God. I swear to God it'd be a fight. Then she goes, I go, "Yeah, I did." She goes, and she just stood there for a second taking it in. And I was like, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cleaning is huge.
Didn't we talk about this the other day of like the little pet peeves that you have with like this, like when you live with somebody, your what do you have? Because we wanted to ask.
Oh my
you
God.
Well, it sounds like there might be a list.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, like, so me and Jake are the same level of cleanliness, aka we're not. Like, the apartment will look like a tornado has hit it, and then we'll both freak out, and we'll both be like, "We need to clean," and we'll panic clean.
Okay.
But I leave shit around all the time. I
This is
change
great.
into like 3 different outfits a day because
This
I work
is
out, and then I
beautiful.
like change into whatever chill clothes, and then I might record, so I have to change again, and then it's pajama time. So I'm constantly putting on different clothes. I'm constantly unboxing PR and all this random shit, and I leave things in places.
Yeah.
But you know what? Jake's not home all day. I am. I'm home. It's my office. It's my home. It's also his home, but he's not there for most of the day. So he comes home, and despite all of the things in all of the places around the apartment, he comes home and he takes his jeans off and he puts them on the kitchen chair.
Yeah.
And then he goes into the room, takes sweatpants and puts them on. Why can't you just leave the jeans in the room that you're going to anyway a minute later?
How dare you? You are a hypocrite. I'm happy to see something wild about you. I needed it. I needed it.
I needed this.
I can't have you at this pedestal. It's not good for me. But it's like,
I'm
yeah,
human.
yeah. I need like you're out here throwing clothes left and right. This guy can't. Because my girl says the same thing about me. She goes, your keys have never been at the front of the house. She's like, you found every other place to put them but the front of the house where they belong. Why does it bother you so?
It's, I just don't
it's just
think
a thing.
jeans should be on the kitchen chair.
Yeah, I mean, there is some truth to that. It's like jeans on the bed after you've been on the subway.
That is different.
You know
That
what I
is
mean?
that
Like,
is
you
a
don't do
that's a
that.
crime. You
That's
should
it.
be ticketed for
Right.
that.
I caught
Yeah.
myself this morning and I said something to him because, again, I got back from traveling last night. My suitcase is on the ground, spread open. There's some stuff unpacked in other places. I got 3 packages yesterday that I opened and haven't really put things away. I had all this like hair care stuff on the kitchen table.
Yep.
Everything was everywhere. The apartment is currently a nightmare.
Yep.
Jake had one thing sitting out on the kitchen table. And this morning I go, are you going to put this somewhere or is it just going to be out for the next 2 months?
Stop.
Yo, that is wild.
Okay.
I respect it.
She's normal.
She's
I'm
normal.
so happy.
She's normal. We
Yeah.
needed that.
I
We
needed
needed
to know
something.
this.
That's so great.
Literally, like, just it shows like our levels of trust issues probably, but like, or growing up where we did. But I remember when we initially got connected and you like followed our podcast and you like said that you liked our show, and we had like 20 followers at that time. We still
Yeah.
don't even have that much more, but
You have like 21 now.
Yeah, exactly. And I was
working on
like,
it.
she's so nice. I was
Yes.
like, what does she want?
Yeah, yeah.
This doesn't make sense.
You were the one doing me a favor.
And that's crazy. I love that you think that, but that is not how I saw that
I mean,
situation.
I'm happy you point at one thing out of place that's not yours and be like, I can't believe this is out here. This is incredible. That's
That's
great.
what I'm saying.
It's needed. It
It
was needed.
humanizes you.
Absolutely.
And then I said, I'm going to put this in your second drawer in the bedroom in your dresser.
Oh my
That's-
I put it away,
Yeah.
and my stuff is still everywhere.
That's phenomenal.
I love that.
I do think though it is good that you both have the same level of cleanliness.
Yes. Mhm.
Because that's the most important part. Because my girl is extremely clean and I am not. Like if it was up to me, like it's like our levels, our thresholds are so different that she's like, you don't think that the house is a mess? There's nothing that's out of place, but it's dusty. It needs to be mopped.
But
Right,
that's
right.
you living in New York. It's dusty the second after you dust.
Yeah,
That's-
I agree.
I know.
Dusting
I
is
get it.
my least favorite.
I
Like,
get
awful.
it. I
Yeah.
understand that. I
Yeah.
completely. But she cleans the bathroom, and I clean the floors.
Yeah.
Like we have what our specialties are.
that's good.
Yeah, but I think that having a different threshold of clean is what I think causes the issues.
Totally.
Because you both we can tolerate what it's looking like, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Even if you do call them out on some small shit, I will think that it's still stellar.
Yeah,
So.
I could see that. That makes sense. Okay.
That makes it
I like
work.
that.
I think
Yeah.
that's better than different levels of cleanliness because then
I
you could
agree.
just you would get into
Yeah.
all sorts of problems. Then.
Oh, well, speaking of cleanliness, I wanted to call out, I went to this thing over the weekend. It was called Bongo's Bingo, and I have to just shout it out because it was the most fun I've had in years. And it was like a bingo game, but like with a rave and like drinking and people dancing on tables. Like it was so insane, but it was so much fun. And like they played old music. You could win crazy prizes, like a cardboard cutout of Liam Neeson. I didn't
Not a
win
bad
that.
win. Yeah. Would
I
you
didn't
have,
win
would
that.
you have hung that up in the house?
Honestly, the thing is, like, at the time, being like kind of drunk and everything, I don't know that I would have actually taken that home, but
Yeah.
like maybe I would have. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I will say it was towards the end getting kind of messy. It was like, you know, when everybody starts to get sloppy.
Yeah. Yep.
And someone spilled a drink all over my wool coat, and I was just like, well,
Yeah.
Time to
and
go.
that's my cue to leave. It was like right towards the end anyway, so I left. But it was just so much fun.
I once shot a sketch where they gave me a cardboard cutout of me, and I,
my
I brought it home.
That's amazing.
And my girl utterly hates it. She
Wait, you
can't-
still have it?
I still have it. It's actually I have
Oh
a
my
bookshelf,
God.
and
Yeah.
it's behind the bookshelf. So all you can see is my head peeking out of
Oh
the
my
cardboard
God.
cutout.
That's
but there's like
hilarious.
potted
Haunting.
plants in front of it because she's like, I can't look at this thing anymore. You refuse to throw it away. And is there stuff that that your man has that you're like, if I could throw this out, I would?
I think it's more that I have a lot of those things.
Interesting.
Okay. What do you think he would want to toss? That'd be like, this has to go.
The lamps in our
Lamps.
bedroom.
Okay.
Wow.
For sure. So my parents moved like out of my childhood house in December of 2021. And that was really difficult for me. And I didn't want to get rid of anything.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the stuff came to the apartment and very much does not belong in the apartment. It very much belongs in the bedroom of a 16-year-old girl.
Right.
But alas.
Is it like an NSYNC
I
lamp?
was just gonna say.
No, but it's like black and feathery and fuzzy.
Okay.
And it just doesn't belong.
Yeah.
It really doesn't belong. So
that.
I think he did last week. He said, "Does that lamp have any sentimental value, or can I toss it?" I was like,
I love that he
Well.
asked.
Yeah.
still there, but
my God,
I think that
that's
would be the
amazing.
first to go.
Oh,
right
that's
now.
so great.
That's funny.
That's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
But I have trouble parting with things for sure.
Yeah, I actually got to a point now where I'm better about it. That's actually one of the reasons I got a lot of like open concept kind of furniture, because it forces me to like get rid of shit. My dad has this saying, when in doubt, throw it out. And it's just like, if you think about it for more than like, 2 seconds, if you're like, do I really need this? That means it should probably go. And that's kind of what I live my life by at this
I've
point.
lived the opposite way.
I could be
It took
gone
me
in the
some
middle of the
time.
night. That's how quickly I can pack my stuff. I could, like a ninja, and just away in the shadows. I'm out of here.
Sounds like you think about that.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think any guy wouldn't. But yeah, sure.
yeah.
I've owned very few things. I like that. Less is
Okay.
more.
Yeah.
More, you want more space in New York City? Throw stuff out. That's really what
I
it
mean,
is.
that is true
Yeah.
too. Yeah, there's
All right.
that. Anyway.
I'm very excited about our Hot
God.
Takes Wild Debates.
Yeah.
All right. And
Yeah.
this is the great thing about Hot Takes Wild Debates. Alana, you get to judge. You get final call. All right. You get the gavel. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So the way it works is Dara and I are going to give each other 60 seconds. All right. So just where we keep it tight, keep it right. And then we're going to compete as to,
Yep.
we're going to throw our arguments out there, and you'll make the final call. All right.
Yep.
What's our topic today for Hot Takes Wild Debates?
Our topic is hall passes. Are you a pro hall pass or anti hall pass?
Dun dun dun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And your last name.
Yeah.
Alana dun dun dun.
Exactly.
All right. So how do you want to kick it off? Do you want me to kick it off?
You go first.
Okay, all right.
I'm honestly not that prepared as I was during my last Annihilation.
Sure.
And
She's riding high.
Yeah,
She's riding high. She
I'm
really
not.
molly-whopped us. It was really rough.
Just come in with the confidence of the 2.5 drinks you had last night.
Look at
that's-
this. You see
that's a
this?
good
First of all,
point.
side coaching? Chill. How about that? Okay. We're out here
I'll
to
give you a point or two.
Thank you. All right.
Maybe.
Yeah. I've talked my way out of a point. All right. Okay. So wait. I'm pro hall pass.
You're anti.
I'm anti hall pass. Right. Yes.
We
Okay.
can't even get it
Oof.
right.
Yikes.
I am
All right.
pro. You are anti.
Okay.
Are you sure?
I guess. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I am not
Anti-hall
prepared.
pass. Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Set.
Hall passes? Disgusting. You're gonna sleep with somebody because they're a celebrity or a singer or something of that note, because some loser recited lines? You're allowed to somehow sleep with most people that are actors probably smell. All right? And I'm just saying, I think people that sing, it's not that impressive. It's no reason to throw a relationship in some sort of turmoil. I think that hall passes shouldn't be allowed in that circumstance. Like, if you want to open a relationship, sure. Polyamory, maybe. I don't know, whatever. But I think that for you to give someone a hall pass because they did something of note is ridiculous. It's unfair, it's weird, and it's strange. All right, just write a letter to somebody. I don't know, maybe make better friends. You don't need to sleep with some stranger because they did something of note. And because of that, I think it's a wild thing to not do. I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
3 seconds to spare
Sure.
as per usual.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
ready?
I think so. I have so many things to say about
I
your
have so many thoughts.
so many thoughts. Well, because also I feel like now I feel like we're almost talking about two different things, but
Sure.
that's okay. Yeah, I guess I'm ready.
Ready? Mm-hmm. Go.
Yeah, I think I'm pro hall pass because maybe it's the answer to saving some relationships and saving some marriages. A lot of relationships end because of infidelity. And I'm not saying make it an open relationship. I think there have to be boundaries. Like with a hall pass, you got to make up rules and shit. Maybe it's once a year. Maybe it's once every 3 years. Who knows? Maybe it's a special occasion. I also just feel like one of the things that wrecks trust is the wondering. Like, I'd rather go to sleep knowing someone was out there screwing me over than wondering about it. You know what I mean? There's a level of reassurance that comes with the hall pass. I say, get it out of your system. Let him be happy. And he's giving her 5 to 7 minutes of pleasure and then falling asleep. Have fun with that. Like, who cares? Let him come back happy and everybody wins. I just feel like maybe it's kind of like not a pacemaker. It's like jump cables for the relationship. You know, it's dying. Give it a boost.
Nicely done. Fantastic. All right. Judge Dunn?
Do I get to give my input?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You get to dissent, opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is your chance.
You just don't get timed. We don't want to put that unfair pressure.
We don't put that time on you.
Yeah.
You're the judge.
I've never heard of anyone actually using a hall pass.
Okay.
Outside of movies.
Yes.
I also don't think that when people say like they want a hall pass for X person, it's not just because they recited lines or sang a song. It's because they're attracted to them.
Okay.
It's because they're their celebrity crush. They've always
Right.
wondered what would it be like, or imagine this alternate universe where Justin Bieber would want to sleep with me. You know, it's this like what if and how cool would that be? It's not like, oh well, like they want a Grammy, so I want to sleep with them. It's this infatuation.
Okay.
I think that if two people agree that okay, like we have a hall pass if this crazy thing ever happens and Jennifer Aniston's down, like then sure, what's the harm if both people are on the same page and agree? I think it's different when it's like, oh, let's just open the relationship for a night, like go have fun, go do whatever. That's a completely different story. I think a hall pass when you both are just saying like, this is the one person that if I ever had the chance to sleep with, I would want to sleep with. And the other person is like, yeah, you totally should not pass that opportunity up. I think that's fine.
That's the thing is like, I think context matters because yours, it sounded like you were talking about a celebrity.
Yeah.
Mine was definitely a little bit more open.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking just celebrities because to me, I feel like it's so like, how would that even, you know, it's
I mean, you never
rare.
really
You
know.
never really
Right,
know,
right,
but
right.
I was thinking
So-
more of like,
Just a random one-off? Random strange?
I mean,
you could give caveats. If you think hall
That's what I'm
passes
saying.
are strictly for celebrity purposes only,
But that's
then
what
that's
it
fine.
sounded like you
Yeah,
mean.
if that's what you're saying, if it's if you're against hall passes entirely, like it depends. If you want to give it caveats, you're more than welcome to give it caveats. You're the judge at the end of the day. We're just lawyers.
maybe let her actually do that.
I'm letting her think first. Letting her think. I know she's got something in there.
I agree with Dara, your point of like honesty around it and communication. Like if that's something that you need in your relationship, like and your
Jumper
partner's
cables.
okay with it, then I mean, who am I to say no? You know?
Yeah. I'm not saying I would want it.
I don't necessarily think that is the way to save a relationship, though.
Oh, listen, I'm not denying that. I'm just taking the pro stance because I had to.
I don't side with either of you.
Ooh, we both suck.
Ooh.
I mean, I know that's not the premise, but
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. All right.
I
That's fine.
side with Pinky Smalls. Is that his
Yay,
name?
yes.
Yes, you did. That's the first time we've ever gotten that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
I
that's-
like that.
Well, because like I said, I think the thing about this segment of Hot Takes While Debates is that a lot of times context really does matter.
Yeah.
And that's where I even said this to you when we were discussing topics for this segment. I said, hall passes are tough because I think that there are a lot of things that could make or break the situation. Like I personally think, it should be probably kept to like just celebrities or something.
Sure.
But you can also, but then I know of people who have like more open relationships but it's only like once a year.
But that
So to
doesn't
me, that's
feel like a
also
hall pass.
But if it's only like once a year, like
I don't know.
I've heard.
It's like, do you really like what?
I know. Listen, this is just a friend of a friend. I don't know them personally, but
Well, I have a question.
yeah.
If you each had to choose a celebrity hall pass,
Ooh.
who would it be?
Interesting.
I have so many.
So Jesus.
Well, there's a few that I like. I'm just trying to
Okay.
think. But for a while, for me, it was Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
Love him.
Sure.
Ryan Reynolds, it used to be.
Right.
Also, I mean, honestly, he's still pretty hot. So it's between those two, I think, for me at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really I just came up with the first name that came to my head, and then that's what I'm going to go with. That's
Let's hear it.
America Ferrera. That's
What?
yeah. That's the first thing that came to my head, and I was like, all right, cool. That's it.
I mean, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Just not what
It's-
I expected.
Listen,
at all.
I know I could sit there and really think or like hammer it up and be like, oh, maybe Rihanna, maybe this, maybe that, whatever. But it's just like, she's the first person that came to my mind. And I was like, that's who I'm going to go with.
Okay.
Why not?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean?
YOLO.
Great
yeah.
gal.
Yeah.
What about
great
you?
gal. I liked, Superstore was dope.
What about you, Ilana?
Chad Michael Murray,
Ooh.
a la A Cinderella Story.
I was just gonna say like older Chad Michael Murray, right? Okay.
Wait, that's post
One Tree Hill.
One Tree Hill. But that's
but like same era.
But that's before the Christian Like, he's like he's really big into Jesus now.
There's a lot that I don't know about him, and you know what? Maybe that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I think.
It's more his character.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I like it.
Okay.
Because
I like
One
that
Tree
too.
Hill, prime Chad Michael Murray was stellar.
Iconic.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. I just started watching One Tree Hill with my girl.
You did?
Yeah.
That's so random.
I know.
I'm so happy for you.
We haven't finished it yet
I've never
because
seen
I'm
it.
lost around season 8 or 9.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I know. This is ridiculous.
You
I don't
haven't
even-
lived.
Well, in our defense,
then there's no excuse.
We're older.
I don't care.
The first season is phenomenal.
Wait, you
Oh my
okay?
God,
Who are
greatest
you?
show of all
It's
time.
so I would
Hilarious.
say the show should have stopped around season 5 if we're going to be honest.
How many
like 5
seasons
or
I
6.
actually like the later seasons too.
Like
It's
8 or
just-
9?
It's hard to make the jump after season 4.
Yeah.
Like it's hard
Okay.
to dive in because the first 4 seasons are so iconic.
Phenomenal.
But
Truly.
I
This
kind of
is
just
so
think
weird.
of the second half as just like it's kind of a different show, but
Yes.
it's the
Okay.
characters that I love.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? I just finished The Sopranos. I actually need a new show with like a lot of seasons, so
Well,
this would be great.
There you go.
Like don't
looks
even
so happy.
look
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
I gotta
No, I'll
finish
try
the
it.
show.
I'll try
I
it.
will admit I've been dragging my feet on it because now I'm not as in love. But those first 4 seasons,
Okay.
greatest.
bonkers.
That's how I felt
Bonkers.
about this was another one that I only watched up 2 years ago, I think. Gossip Girl. I had never seen it. Because again, it was a little past my
Yeah.
time, so I watched that. The first few seasons of that show are incredible.
Phenomenal.
It fell off a little bit
Yes.
for me towards the end. I actually don't even think I finished it.
I didn't finish it either.
Yeah, I didn't
couldn't.
finish it.
Dina is furious with me
Really?
because I refuse to finish. She's like, you have a tendency for us to just start a show,
Yeah.
and then we don't even finish
No,
it.
you gotta finish it, man.
And she was
Especially if
like,
you're
we
watching it
didn't
with
finish,
a
Gilmore Girls. We didn't finish One Tree Hill. We didn't finish Peaky Blinders.
I
Gilmore
can't get
Girls.
into Gilmore Girls.
Same.
Yeah.
Thank you
I've
so
tried
much.
so many times.
I can't.
I
It's-
want to
it's
so
annoying.
badly because I've heard such
Yeah.
magical things.
No.
I cannot do it.
I can't deal with it.
Can I rant
They're annoying.
for a second?
No.
Okay. Fair enough. I just gotta say, after a while, you realize they're both bad people.
Yeah.
They're bad people.
And they're annoying.
Lorelai and what's her and her daughter Rory. They stink. They just suck. Like
They both suck.
They both suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the mom doesn't impart like good wisdom or
Yeah.
practical living. She's just strings along this guy who owns a restaurant for years. For no reason.
I have not made it this far into
I
the
know.
show.
Well,
He's
I have
a
no
good
idea what you're talking
man.
about, and I've tried so many
He's
times.
a good man, and it's unfortunate. And then Rory makes the same mistakes all over again,
Yeah.
and history repeats itself. And it's like, Rory, you suck because your mom sucks, and the only person who doesn't suck is their grandmother, who comes from money, and we all give her guff because she comes from affluent means. She shouldn't be penalized for this.
You
She's
really
a good
know this
lady.
show.
She's trying. I'm sorry. Okay, I just had to.
Good God.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was like, I don't know this
Anyway,
show.
And how does that make you feel?
Yeah. Just tell us how you really
I just feel like it's a little unfair that somebody who with like means gets a bad shake. Not all rich people are horrible. And I hate the rich. But I'm just saying.
Dan Scott.
Yeah, Dan Scott is fun. I mean, yeah,
who's
that's
Dan
from One Tree Hill.
You'll learn.
Yeah, when you start to watch it,
No, I actually will. I feel like I've
Yeah.
seen it on one of the streaming services. What's it on? Is it on Netflix?
it's on Hulu.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got my girl a Keith Scott mechanic sweatshirt.
That's the first thing I ever got Jake. It was like our
God.
5th date or something,
That's
and I
phenomenal.
got him one of those.
Yeah, she
Oh my
loves
God.
it. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
very
Okay.
big into the
Keith
OTH.
Scott Body Shop.
Yeah, yeah.
Wild. Okay. I'm gonna have to get caught up. I need to learn, I guess.
Yeah, you do.
You have
All
so
right.
much life ahead of you. Oh my god!
You know
what
what
I would do to rewatch it for the first time.
Because no, I was looking for a show. I was like, I need one of those old shows that has like 27 episodes per season. That's what I
Yep.
need right now.
That was old
Ding,
back
ding,
in
ding.
the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
You had just so
Like,
many episodes.
Have you ever watched? And then we'll get to the submission, I promise. But have you ever seen Desperate Housewives?
So I'm on it. I'm working on it for the first time ever.
That's another one that's like such a good rewatch because it is insane. Like the drama and the amount of people who get hit by cars as a person who's been there. It's like enough, okay? But it's like 27 or 22 episodes per season. It's crazy. So
They were
enjoy
working
that.
like sweatshop hours back in
It's
the
crazy.
day.
I
No, it's
know.
That was
nuts.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really nuts. Okay. Should we get into the submish
Yes,
for today?
let's do it.
Oh yeah, so this is kind of short, but I feel like there's a lot of good little pieces in here that I'm excited about.
Good juice.
Oh, one thing I do want to say to the people listening, people who write in, we love you guys. However, a lot of you are slipping on the age. I feel it matters for us to know how
Yes.
old you are as
Yes.
it pertains to some of these squabbles.
Key
so
detail.
please Yes, try to include the little ASL, little age, sex, location. Location not as important, but I think age is definitely important.
Absolutely, because it lets us know where you are in your life. Probably.
Exactly.
It gives us a better idea.
Agreed.
A barometer, at least.
Right. Okay. So I met this widower on Tinder and we hit it off. I initially thought I really liked him, but 1 month in saw we had very little in common and he was ultra clingy. When I tried to break things off, he reacted as that was the world's biggest betrayal and said something like, "You destroyed my faith in love," which I found a bit too dramatic for a 1 month Tinder relationship. He continuously played the dead wife card and dragged the dialogue for 6 hours until I completely lost patience. Do I suck? Does he suck? Does the wife suck for dying?
Which is a phenomenal last line of the submission.
Literally,
Kudos.
thank you. Amazing.
Kudos to the writer.
Yeah.
Alana, you want to lead off?
All right.
Yeah.
It sucks that the wife died.
Yeah.
Yes.
She does not suck for dying.
Right.
Let's put that out there.
Okay. I guess, yes.
Put that out there.
That's fair.
Worth
First and
mentioning.
foremost.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think this person did anything wrong.
Which the one, the person who
Wrote in.
Yeah,
I don't think the person who wrote in did anything wrong. I
Right.
think, you're allowed to meet people, you're allowed to explore things, and you're allowed to decide that you're not interested in continuing to explore it. I think the widower's faith in love was already dead.
Ooh, interesting.
Yes.
It
Right.
died with the wife.
Yeah, it's buried.
Right. Right. They put it in the
Or
in
in
the
an
casket.
urn.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very possible.
You open it up.
But
there it is.
But then you're putting it on somebody else. That's what I think is the problem here, because it may have died with the wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you can't put that on somebody else that you just started dating after a month.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this person's clearly not ready to date.
Absolutely
Right.
not. Yeah.
And you can't put that on the person who died in a way too, because
Right.
it's like your job is to
process.
Yeah. To pick up the pieces, to go forward in that way. And I think a lot of times when they like a spouse of theirs passes, they stop living, and that's really just the worst thing you can do. I think.
Sure, but I mean, I think there has to be some, obviously level of mourning, and like you got to have that time to
Yes.
grieve. And we also don't know how long ago this person's wife died. That's another thing, details matter. So these kinds of things would have probably helped for context, but even still, this person is probably, as you were saying, not ready to be dating. So there was that. But it's like, do you think it's really fair for somebody to say, like, I just don't think it's fair to say that to somebody, that like, "Oh, you destroyed my faith in love."
No,
Like,
absolutely
it's crazy
not.
to
That's
say that.
manipulative.
As somebody
yeah.
who probably said that to guys when I was in my early 20s, it's completely not okay to say that.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's the kind of line you
Yeah.
say, and then you cut to commercial break. Yeah. Like, it's so over dramatic.
very dramatic,
It's
yeah.
unnecessary, and it's just like, man, now I almost wonder how this wife died. You know what I mean? Like, it's maybe she had to get away.
Yeah.
Like, to be clingy in this level where it's just like you're on this person. I don't know. I think that when you go through a spouse that passes, like, therapy has to happen.
I think
it should be like almost like it's mandatory. I know you can't, but I do feel that way.
I mean, I think it depends on the person.
Right.
I will say I actually dated a widower last year briefly for a couple months. And I won't get into too much detail out of respect, but his wife died of cancer. And I just remember one of the things that and like, he was a great guy. It just like, it wasn't a fit, you know what I mean? Like, so I ended it, whatever. And we stayed on good terms. And there was always something though that felt to me like he was kind of, there was a little bit of a void filler vibe I was getting, because I think, he was married, as was this person. You're married and like you're used to your routines with this person. I think sometimes you jump into dating maybe a little too quickly. It can just be like routine for you.
Did he try to replicate routine-like behavior that he had with his wife with you?
It seemed like that to me, not
Interesting.
knowing shit about their relationship,
Sure.
obviously, but it felt very much like that was somebody just kind of going through the motions a little bit. A couple months later, he texted me and he said like, I think you missed your calling in psychology, because you were right. I was just going like through the motions. I've been kind of like working it out. And
I think the
it's
problem
tough.
the thing is what happens when you have a spouse who passes from cancer, there's like the disconnect of the relationship. Is even, it happens when they're alive. So it's like, you know, the thing is like now, like you're no longer a husband. I mean, you're a caretaker.
You're a caretaker,
right? And then you're doing that for so long,
mourning the relationship already
while you're in it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
I thought of that.
Once the person passes, they might feel like they're ready to start dating again.
He told me that. Yes.
Right. And then I think that they just, but like, it's because they've lived in that role as caretaker for so long that now that the, you know, casket is closed in a way, they're like ready to start living again for themselves. But I still think that there's another period after that's required that you need to like kind of situate yourself and sit with it for a minute and be like, am I ready? Am I really ready to give myself in this way? Or is this person going to be a substitution? I think that causes a lot of problems. Like, if then you have this new person in your life and they're just a placeholder.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
No, that's what can cause issues in these relationships.
Yeah. And somebody who says like that they were ultra clingy,
Right.
Like, I didn't think this guy was clingy in my case, but like if this person is saying that, that's usually a sign of somebody who's not really ready. I mean, that's at least how I read it.
Well, to say to somebody you destroyed my faith and love a month in is so wildly bonkers to me.
I mean.
It's like such an unhinged thing.
Yeah.
And I think that the person had really just like, once you realize a person's willing to say this, what else? What other tactics?
Yeah.
I think that the rules are no longer like, oh, this person has very few limits as to what they're going to say. And that's a huge red flag to me.
Right.
When someone starts to tell you like, hey, you've destroyed my faith and love. Like, Lord, this is a telenovela.
Have you ever had anybody from like a dating app get too dramatic too quickly? And how did you handle it if you did?
Great question.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was probably me. I sucked very much.
It's me.
It's me.
I love that.
Hello.
Yeah.
No,
That's
I mean,
funny.
I honestly, like, it definitely was me because I
Okay.
so badly wanted to find somebody, and I attached so much of my worth to whether or not somebody wanted to be with me. And so I ended up pushing people away by trying to cling on so tightly.
Right.
Can I ask a question about that? Because I have a friend who does that even now.
Yeah.
And I don't think she listens to this, so I don't care. I'm calling her out. And she's my age. Like, we're literally almost 40. And she'll go on a date with a guy once and get very like attached to the person or the idea of the person and get so rejected feeling when the person isn't text. And I'm just like, dude, you gotta relax. This person doesn't even know you. And how did you work through that? Because I'm curious.
Yo, 2 for 2.
I'm just saying. I think
no,
about
it's a great
these things.
question.
I was
Yeah.
never. I have my own issues, my own brand of crazy, but I've never been that person who attaches after one date. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was for so long. And it was a terrible, terrible feeling. And I mean, it was all consuming. I would look around at everybody else or open social media and just see couples. And I internalized that as like, well, everyone else is deserving of love and I'm not.
Wow.
And so I think for me, the biggest thing was really, like, we've all heard the phrase, you have to love yourself before you can be loved by someone else. I disagree with that phrase because learning to love yourself is a lifelong battle that many people might not ever achieve. It's a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
But you have to at least like yourself and respect yourself enough to not accept treatment that's less than what you deserve.
Thank you.
That, you know, you don't want to feel when you meet somebody, the right person is going to make you feel more comfortable and safe. They're not going to make you feel more anxious than you were before they came into your life. And it took me a lot of time of really learning to like myself and respect myself so that I wouldn't put up with things that I wasn't okay with. Or if I noticed that, you know, a situation was starting to feel like something that I had already been through, like maybe I would make a different choice this time. It took a lot of really like falling on my face but then really spending time with myself and realizing like, hey, I actually kind of like myself. Like I do have some cool stuff to offer.
Right.
And
Cool.
that
did you figure that like, what were the things that you like, how are you learning to like yourself? What were those things like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like the dates were telling you that clearly before. They weren't telling you themselves, but like you were realizing this about yourself. But then how did you start to like yourself? Like what was the steps like in that?
the world shut down and I could not hang out with anybody and I could not go
You
on
were
dates.
forced
so
to
I had
spend time with
myself.
Right.
Honestly, is what it is.
Yeah.
I think COVID was a huge challenge for me, but I think it was the a huge blessing for me in terms of my personal growth, because I had to learn to enjoy my own company. And I couldn't rely on validation from external people and Jewish boys in their late 20s, because I couldn't do that. And so I had to learn to enjoy my time working on a puzzle or coloring in a coloring book. And I went from being this person who hated spending time on my own to being this person who loved spending time on my own and who now like cherishes my me time.
That's important.
Amen
I think
to that.
That's a very important thing, because it's just like, all right, for those, obviously we can't expect another pandemic. Like that's not.
And we don't hope for one.
We don't hope for one either.
Don't go hoping for one.
But there's something that what you're saying there to me that I think the takeaway is like, then it's almost like you sort of like the isolation of yourself was like a huge deal. Like you being alone, I think was like so important for your own growth.
Yeah, and I think there are ways to replicate that, not in a pandemic, but like take yourself on a date. If there's a concert you want to go to it on your own. You know, challenge yourself. It does take getting out of your comfort zone without a doubt. Yeah. But, you know, I think we all have these like internal bucket lists of things that we'd want to do around New York City or wherever we live with our potential future partner. And we're like, oh, if only I had like a partner to go do this thing with, or if only, you know, as soon as I get into my next relationship, I want to do that thing that I saw on Instagram. Like, go do those things by yourself.
Yes.
Like you are the only person that will be there for you throughout your entire life. You should learn to enjoy your own company.
Amen.
Yo, stellar.
Yeah.
Yo, coming in. Yo, you could yell at somebody for leaving jeans out. I don't care. You know what I mean? Let him know. Let him know. He's in the wrong. That's just what happens. I get it.
Dropping those truth bombs. No,
Yes.
I completely agree though. And that was like how I became comfortable with myself too, was just like starting to do more things solo on my own. It was like learning to love that like solo time. It was very much the same thing. But yeah, I think that this relates to that, because this person saying something like, you destroyed my faith in love, is somebody who's still putting everything that they feel on somebody else, and that's not right.
Yes,
you know what
that's
I mean?
very true. I think that when you put all that pressure on another person, ultimately they will let you down.
Right.
And because you've already built them into this other thing entirely that they can't hold a candle to anymore. So it's just like, and I think that the expectations should come from within.
Right. Oh, but wait.
Very important.
Yes, absolutely. But the one thing I did want to say is the dead wife card, hilarious. But I don't think I would ever actually use that phrase, and I hope that this person who wrote in would never actually use that phrase like to that person.
Yeah.
Because like that's just like a crazy thing to say. But I wonder, like, again, knowing like when this person died probably would have helped, because I do think that the dead wife card is an okay one to play. Is my point. It's a card you definitely have.
It does have its merit. It's absolutely you can. I think you can use it in some nefarious ways.
That's what
absolutely.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. I think it's totally fair to do that. It depends on, again, how long it's been or what kind of dead wife card they're pulling out, you know? And also something about 6 hours, though, that's an insane amount of time to be talking to somebody that you met or that you've been dating for 1 month on Tinder. They said they had like a 6-hour conversation, I think. That's a lot.
That should have been reserved for their therapist.
I'm a crazy person when it comes to having like conversations with the people that I date, but even I don't go for 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's psychotic. Like, no.
Huh. Yeah.
He's like, I've done it.
He's like, 4.5.
Yeah, I've spoken to friends for 4 hours.
Hang on, I'm not talking about like
in a
hanging
deep,
out,
like friendship breakup way.
No, like with a friend if we can, and we're really going through it.
To, though.
I love it. I want to.
I'll give you a call.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You know what really annoys me? It sucks for a man because we don't get these deep conversations.
Yeah.
I think women it's just society has kind of created that conditioning. But men will have to get hammered. Mm-hmm. We'll have to get viciously drunk to open up. Yeah. Whereas I think that women are a little more able to do that. Right.
But have you tried just opening up to a friend?
Oh, I have. Okay. I just need better male friends.
They just shoot it down.
Yeah, they shoot it down. They're like, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, come on, dude. I don't care if we're on a bus. We got time. You know what I mean? Let's sort it out. I think that those conversations, they're good. They're important to have.
Well, you know what? That brings up another good point, though. This person is probably not having enough of those conversations with his friends. You might be onto something there.
Right.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it.
This is where you figure out who you are when you
Yeah.
have these deep conversations.
Yeah.
Like shout outs to the people that I do have these conversations with, where it's just like we start to really like ask those hard questions, like, well, why do you feel that way? What
Right.
makes you do this? Like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
That's a huge question. I think doesn't get asked enough. Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
It's
And because you mentioned that, I think, for the person who wrote in and for anyone else who might be dating a widower or dating somebody who's been through something traumatic, I think you also kind of do have to take some responsibility where if you hear them say something or you see this behavior that maybe doesn't feel right for you, or maybe you're concerned about them, it is on you to bring that up, because it's like if you see something, say something,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And also it's like you found out you started dating this guy who lost his wife like not that long after perhaps. And it's like, what was the impetus for that?
Oh,
what
like
was the
what was
reasoning?
going out? for
Yeah,
going
what's
out in
going
the
on
first
in
place?
your life? Like there's sometimes when I see friends date like certain types of guys or certain types of women, and I go, these are emotionally unavailable people. And the fact that you keep doing it sort of lets me know that's where you are in your life.
I don't know that. I mean, well, to a degree, but also you got to understand. Sometimes they disguise it very well. As somebody who's dated a fair amount of toxic men, sometimes you
Right.
don't know until you're invested, and then when you're invested, you're like, eh.
Or sometimes you're the toxic one.
Right? Yeah, and I've definitely been the toxic one.
Right, of course, yeah.
But I think that's part of it. But again, this is what I was thinking too, and we don't know those details because, like in my case, with the guy that I dated last year who was a widower, I didn't realize right away that it was so like recent. It was like a few months had passed, and then we went on our first date, and I had already agreed to the date by the time I learned that. So I was just kind of like, shit. But I asked like literally immediately when we got to the bar. I remember being like, are you okay? Like, are you ready for this kind of thing?
Do you think that kind of thing should be disclosed up early on? Do you think that it should be like, hey, listen, I just buried this wife. I just want to let you know. Heads up. Like
what do you think, Ilana?
Yeah.
I've heard this in a different scenario where people have either been married before or engaged before, and they're not sure when they should bring it up. And the thing is, like, the right person or somebody who is not bothered by it is going to understand. If you waited a few more dates, then maybe they would have preferred. They'll understand that you had your reasons for waiting. Right. But I think, listen, like, it's a huge part of who you are. And if someone is going to quickly judge that and say, well, you're not for me, then they're not for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be with somebody who's going to be understanding and supportive and curious and respectful. And so whether that happens on the first date or the third date or the fifth date, like, we all have shit. We all have baggage that for us is the elephant in the room when we go on the date that nobody else knows about until we bring it up. We all have something that we're afraid to talk about. But I think, something like this is so big to where you're at in life, and it doesn't define you. It doesn't reflect on who you are, but it is a really important part of your journey.
Yeah. And I think that's and also says something about the person who wrote in. I think that the person might have been totally fine dating a widower if like they felt that everything else was there. Like, I don't
seems like it.
You know what I mean? Like, but it wasn't. So they were just like, well, never mind. And then that person like lost their mind. But it's like, had everything else been in place, I don't think those things would have been, I don't even think they would be thinking about the dead wife card. You know what I'm saying? Because everything else would align.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, should we get to some judgments?
I think so.
All right, you wanna lead off?
Yeah, I'll lead off.
Yeah.
The guy sucks. I mean, he needs to get a grip. I understand that having a dead spouse is horrible, and I can't even imagine. But this person clearly has some shit that they need to work through. And blaming somebody else for, their losing, or what was it, their faith in love or whatever, that's definitely not on the person who wrote in. The guy sucks. There's, in my mind, no question.
Yeah, I kind of want to give this person a bit of a pass in terms of like, but I just think that once
we don't know the details.
We don't know the details in that,
of
but
how
I'm
long
just
it's
based
been.
on what we have. I'm saying that when you start to use inflammatory like statements like that, like you've destroyed my faith in love, and you're like a stage 5 clinger. Like, it's just like those types of things are like, oh man, you need to sit with yourself for a period of time. You need that isolation. You need to take yourself out on a couple dates. Like, I think that those types of things are so important. Like, when people lose a spouse or a job or anything that like takes up a major portion of their time, obviously those things are different, but they do take a huge part of someone's life. I think that you need to sit with these types of things. I think you need to really take that time, and this person hasn't. And I think that there's no shortcuts when it comes to these types of things. So I'm gonna have to say that this person sucks. Does the wife suck for dying? I don't know. I'm still on the fence, but I'm gonna say ultimately.
I forgot about that, but
Ultimately,
no.
I'm gonna say that this guy sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that the widower sucks.
Yeah.
Because I'm a quote unquote good person.
Right.
Your words, not mine.
Yeah, clearly I am not.
I instead am going to say that the widower needs time to heal before getting back out
That's
there
a
again.
nice way of saying he sucks.
See what I mean?
Yeah, but that's
Like,
a nice way of saying he sucks.
It is a nice way
You're
of
just
saying he
using
sucks.
different language. You're
Yeah.
patting it.
Yeah, but it's like I can't even be flowery
You
like
can,
that.
you
know
can
what I
read
mean?
between the lines. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
how
that's
I
what
feel.
I'm
get it.
saying.
I
She's
get
like,
it.
you know what I
I
mean?
respect it.
She does a solid job. I'm out here going, this guy blows. Like, I'm
So
just
did
like,
I.
Yeah, like
We're both
such,
goons.
We're
It's
such
fine.
trash people, truly. You know, you might have to like throw away your clothes when you get home, just to be it's
Burn
just-
'em.
Burn them. Yeah, it's just safer you do that. You know,
Well, we have to bang the gavel.
bang the gavel.
Yes.
Yeah,
The widower sucks. Needs time.
there we go.
Yay, amazing.
right.
Okay, well,
So-
I wanted to ask, now that you're getting married, are you able to share anything about the wedding planning, where you're having it, any of that kind of stuff?
Oh,
and
sure.
what are you most excited about in terms of like the actual wedding, I guess?
I am most excited to no longer have to plan a wedding.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we're 3 months out. Most of it's done, but it's a never ending to-do list. And I can't even articulate how much is left to do.
Yeah.
But we are having it at a country club in Westchester where we're both from.
Beautiful.
It's actually, the venue's like 5 minutes from the house he grew up in.
Okay.
And he'll be like getting ready there, which is really
Nice.
cool.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cute. Okay.
And
Good for
it's-
photos too.
It's hopefully going to be a beautiful day.
Oh.
Here's the problem is if it's a nice day out, we're doing it outside.
Okay.
And if it's not a nice day, we're doing it inside in the ballroom. We have no idea.
Right.
So we have
Right.
to come up with two completely different plans.
Oh,
I have
interesting.
absolutely no idea what my wedding's going to look like. I just know
okay.
that I'm going to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yep. Have a good time.
yeah.
Oh, and you're not having a bachelorette party.
I'm not having a bachelorette party.
Wild.
Why? Yeah, I'm so curious.
Too much fucking stress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amen, sis. I would not
Not
want to
even
deal.
like just like a couple gals get together, something. You're like, no, nothing happened, nothing doing.
You know, I've thought about doing like a day in the city, but even that, I've seen people do that, and even that gets to be like $400 or $500,
It's
and
a
people
lot.
are upset
I
about
did
it,
that.
and
None.
it still causes anxiety and drama. And then it's like, well, just because it's one day instead of a whole weekend, it's more pressure to make that one day perfect.
that's a good
and
point.
I just feel like, you know, I've been on a bunch of bachelorette parties, and for the most part, I don't enjoy myself on them.
Right.
There's so many things to worry about. I'm not a go with the flow person. I'm like
Yeah.
you've seen those memes like, I can go with the flow, but what time does the flow start
Yes,
and end?
yes,
Like
that's
that,
me.
that's me.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
like they're so expensive. I don't want to make my friends feel like financially uncomfortable. Everyone's in different stages of their lives. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
She is a good person.
Yeah, she's right.
She
You know what I'm
is.
saying?
Yeah, we
Crazy.
get okay.
So good.
it was the easiest decision for me to make in this
Yeah.
entire process, and it's the one decision that I've never second guessed.
Amazing. Okay, I love that.
And-
No, I agree. It is a lot. I have been on a bunch, and almost every single one there's some kind of drama,
Right.
even if it's fun. It's
Yeah.
still like there's something.
Oh
you know?
yeah,
and they're
no,
always so
I've been
expensive.
to some bachelor parties where it was horrible. Absolutely. Like I don't think I've been to one where I walked away from it going, "Well, this was pound for pound a solid idea." It was always people getting way too drunk,
Yeah.
people doing all sorts of wild behavior, especially dudes getting crazy.
Yeah.
And in terms of also, I just want to say this about the weather. Like I went to a wedding in Brooklyn, and they did the ceremony on the roof. We were supposed to. It was not supposed to rain that day. Ended up thunderstorming.
Oh, damn.
We did the ceremony on the roof.
Wow.
Under canopy umbrellas and everything. I ordained the wedding. And she's like, I want to get married on this roof. We're gonna get married on this roof.
Damn.
And we did it, and it was phenomenal.
Wow.
And there were people that are like in the rain. Everyone's got umbrellas, and we're all just out there. And you know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The love
Because-
brought you together.
Because the love is there.
Exactly.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know? I think she's rubbing off on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm excited. All right.
Amen.
Yo, plug
Okay.
yourself.
Yeah,
Let
what you got
people
going
know.
on? Sorry, that was
Sorry,
like,
that was a little aggressive on
that
our
was
end.
so aggressive on both our parts.
Yeah.
What do you have going on
What would you
coming
like to
up?
push?
Well, first of all, thank you both
Yes.
so much for having
Thank
me.
you for having
Thank you for coming on.
I've been very excited for this. Actually, can I be honest?
Yeah.
So, like, we talked about doing this in December when you guys came over for seeing other people.
Yep.
And I was so excited. And then, like, a long time went by.
Right.
And, like, there was no follow up.
Yeah.
And, like, I think, like, there were multiple times where, like, I would DM either of you about
Yes.
something. And I'm like,
Maybe
do I ask? Is that aggressive?
Oh,
Are they?
no, it's,
I can't with you.
yeah,
This
we're
is too
just
much.
no. We were like, listen, we need
my
to.
God.
First of all, I think that we got better at doing this.
Yeah, we did.
So and
that was
that's
a big
important
part
for
of it.
us.
Yeah, we
'Cause-
wanted to have you on when we were better,
Like-
if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
because like in the beginning, I think we were more combative with each other a little
Yes.
bit. We were definitely like our flow was off to a degree.
combative.
It was whatever. You see what I mean? You know, like out here, you know, we be fighting, and that was the problem. And I was like, yo, I can't be bringing her into this space
Yeah.
where it's just not gonna be like chill.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I'm not that chill and wholesome. Like,
I don't want you to break the mystery. You know what I mean? I don't care. Even if you yell at somebody about jeans, I don't care. You're
Yeah.
just still such a wholesome person.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So we're
Wow.
happy to have you on. We're
Happy to
thrilled.
have you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. You can find more of this wholesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen to Seeing Other People wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow along on Instagram at Seeing Other People. You can find Life in Progress wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow on Instagram and TikTok at It's Life in Progress. And I'm Ilana Dunn.
You want this content in your life.
Yes, you do.
Just so that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
the follow.
I followed you way before we even got introduced by Allie. I followed you on TikTok. Your videos had popped up on my feed, and I'm like, oh my God, I really like this girl. I like her content. So you guys will too.
Yes.
Yes.
And also you can follow us.
Yes, at you
Please
both
follow
suck.
them.
I know, please, for the love of God.
Okay, relax. Let's tone it down
It's
a
an
little
uphill
bit.
battle.
It's not
Okay.
threaten. It's
Okay.
not threaten people.
Give them a 5-star rating and review, or else.
Thank you.
Thank
Or
you.
else.
See?
I
There
will
you go.
threaten people.
Those threats are nice though.
You're
Yours
right.
is like I have a knife behind my pocket. Like it's we can't trust that. You know what I mean?
Would you
Yes.
believe me if I said I was my sorority's assistant pledge master?
Oh my God, really?
I can't.
No, I can't see that
Get
at
out of
all.
here. What was your sorority? You volunteered a soup kitchen? Please. I can't imagine you out here.
Commands are Alana Lauren Dunn.
I
Oh my
can't do
God.
it. I just don't believe it.
Interesting. Okay, there are layers. I
Yeah.
like it. Peel the onion.
All right. So,
But
yeah.
yes, at You Both Suck podcast, and you can submit on there. There's a Google form in the link in bio. There's the voice note option. We've got a lot of ways to submit, so pick one of those. And please remember to put your age at least. If
Yes.
you're going to add anything. And I think that's about it. I'm at Dara Pollock.
I'm at All Day KCA. I'm going to mimic Dara's hand movements
I-
here.
you know
This
what?
is ridiculous.
Let's
But
everyone together.
There we go. Yes. And that's all. Thank you guys
Thank
for tuning
you.
in.
Bye.
Bye.